Well, thank you very much, Craig. Let me get back to the gallery view here. Hi, Dustin. Hi, Shelly, Melody, Deborah, Coach Bob, Matthew, my son, Eric, Jim, Lisa Marie, and we got CJ. Got my lovely wife, Terry, here, the hostess with the mostest. Yeah, that was double intro there. Uh,
Mary.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary. Great to see you on here as well.
Sandy, we're missing Sandy.
Yeah. So, hello, I love you, Unlimited Wisdom family and community. My thoughts for this week is pretty interesting. Like yesterday, we had fun on the recess, and me and Arthur and a few other people got to geek out a little bit because of all the stuff happening with the moon launch. You know what I mean? And what I wanted to bring out to each and every one of you is just, with the Easter and everything done, is like, okay, so, what are you focused on for the rest of the next holiday? What's the next holiday coming up, right? And it's hard for me to believe that in a blink of an eye, three quarters, 3 months are gone already in 2026, and here we go. So I know there's this crazy thing, and I believe um, there's something to do with it, but the whole concept is that, how fast time flies. Okay. But with that, it's like, how fast does time fly? And then people go, when you're having fun. So, how many of you not only are having time fly right now, but how many of you are having like the time of your life? You know what I mean? So,
What's that?
so, hi, Scott. Hi, Faith. And here's the reason that I bring this up is, and I brought this up numerous times, but I just thought, hey, I don't think this thing that I'm going to share with you guys can ever be brought up enough. It's like when Terry and I went for a walk this morning, it's like our pear tree just was so full of blossoms. It was just like, so incredibly beautiful. And hi, Deborah Bronner. And we always talk about this whole concept. When's the best time to plant a tree? The best time to plant a tree was years ago. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever, right? But just because you didn't plant a tree years ago doesn't mean you can't be planting now. So I've always had this little story that I used to tell all the time, and I just thought I would tell it again. So you got a group of people in the world right now that just mentally would like, freedom. They would like to be able to generate some extra income for themselves. And I think that it all comes down to freedom, right? So if you just wrote a big, freedom and what freedom means to you. So if you don't know what freedom means to you, then you're not going to be imagining a better future for you and your family. And one of the things I'm extremely proud of right now is, of course, my son Matthew, because of all the projects that he's building. You know what I mean? That me and him were talking about it, and he's got all these different projects going, and we just know that he's going to really score big on these, right? On these projects. And sometimes what you do is you put all your efforts into one project and you don't really see it going anywhere. So you sort of lose your traction. And everyone knows what slow time is, right? So we talk about how fast time goes, but how many of you sometimes are in a place where things are not working the way you want them to, and it seems like it's taking forever? And it all comes down to each and every day of you planting. You guys know that I felt like the master's mind, on Easter was just something really cool because I just wanted people to get, the concept of how again you imagine the future. So, I know this week I was thinking, okay, so Easter's over. For those of you that follow that belief, follow that story, now that he was recognized by all of his disciples, and the Holy Spirit came down on him. So if you were a disciple, what could be better? You got to hang around with the guy for a few years. It was sad to get him see him get convicted and crucified. Then all of a sudden he rose again, and now you got to spend some time with him before he ascended to heaven. Are you following me? All right. So now when the Holy Spirit comes down on everyone and he goes to heaven, and you know Jesus is here, you know God is here, what is the next thing for you to do? Does any one of you want to guess what the next thing the disciples were basically told or commanded to do? Go tell the story. Go to the ends of the earth. Go to every place and share the story, share the good story. And that's what keeps me always focused. I get up each and every day, and I know there's people that don't know the story. And so every day, if I'm not, every day,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I went big screen for grandma. Talking about planting good seeds. Check that out.
He just woke up.
Yeah, you can tell he just woke up.
Sweet baby.
So the point is that why each and every day do we know that we should be planting seeds and we just don't? Why is that? Well, why did the disciples do it? A trade-off that they knew they were going to have once they were no longer here. Right? So it's like you got to have that imagination in your head every single day. And I know that I probably have shared this with people, but I'll share it again. When there was two concepts that when I understood being an entrepreneur is that, you know, there's one concept in the greatest miracle in the world that, you know, you got to think big. You got to have this audacious dream that seems like it's unachievable. Bless you, Lisa Mary. And it's just got to be unachievable. So when you talk about the concept of thinking big, I thought, well, the biggest thing I could think of at the time, 40 years ago, is I'm just going to outgive God. How many people think that's a pretty big goal? And I know Eric and Melody and people that have been around me forever, they hear me say that and they're going like, it's just the biggest goal I can think of, right? And so when you think about that, my whole imagination, and again, this is my imagination, is that I'm standing before, you know, God, and he says, with all the years that I've given you, what did you do to deserve to be in heaven? See, even though a lot of us might know the answer to that, why wouldn't he ask it? So some of us know the obvious, right? And so when he says that, I just want millions of people that are already up there screaming, let him in. So all the people that are already up there are like, let him in, let him in. And I just want to smile. And as I'm smiling and tears running down my face, it says, hey, well done, good and faithful servant. And so that's what I want each and every one of you to sort of get in your mind. It's like, I'm not aware of, if some of you are more creative than me, let me know. But I don't know what would be worth building. When my sons were young, I would always say, they'd say, Dad, what are you doing? And I said, building the empire. And I just don't know what's more important than each and every day for each and every one of us to go out there and constantly be planting seeds. Just constantly putting the story in front of the people, just knowing for a fact that we will find the right people at the right time. You know, for those of you that are involved in a lot of different areas of our life, my life and Terry's life and the Hollis's life, it's like, you know, there's people can be planting seeds with unlimited wisdom. That's why we're here. So there was a guy that I was just talking to the other day, and he goes, I'm trying to build a community. And he goes, what would be your first suggestions? And I said, my first suggestion is to do a live with your community. I use Zoom. I said, do a live with your community every day. Sometimes we have 2 a day. And he said, well, that's never going to happen. Then I go, why would you ask me how to build a community if you won't do what I do? Does that make sense? So when I seen all the blossoms on that pear tree in our yard, someone planted that years and years and years and years ago. And it's like that one concept of constantly, what can you do to get excited? Other than me, I always look at the reason that I plant seeds all day, every day, is just because I know that there are going to be people that are going to believe in it. They're going to have hope. They're going to have faith. They're going to start using their imagination. And it really, really comes down to a lot of people, I think, don't plant seeds because they're going like, you really get down to it, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay financially. I figured out how to survive. Thanks for getting on, Scott. And so people do that. But that's not the reason I plant seeds. The reason I plant seeds is because I want people to experience a life that I've lived. Someone took the time to plant seeds in me, and I had the faith and the hope to believe that it could be possible for me. And I went out there and did it, and now I've lived a life that most people never, ever, ever experience. There's little things that have happened in our lives where I look back at it and I'm just going like, wow. And I think that everyone should live out some of the dreams that they have. So sometimes you might not be the person, but you might be the person that talks to the right people at the right time. And all of a sudden they're going to look at it like, wow, you shared this with me at a perfect time. And I'll just throw this out here, to think that, the astronauts, they're on their way home now. They went across the moon and now they're headed back home. And I just thought, wow, it was so just interesting that, the black astronaut, I should know his name, but is that every time he got a chance to speak to the world, which we know the video will get seen by hundreds of millions of people. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of people that are inspired by this. And then the rest of them are out there saying it's not true. It's not happening. But guess what? They're still spreading the story, right? And one of the things that I thought is him numerous times, saying stuff in front of Victor Glover, thank you, for him to, be out there. And he goes, hey, listen, you don't have to believe in God. But the one thing that I know when I look back at that little blue marble is that what if everyone on that blue marble decided to be kind and love one another? So we're up here, we're, 250,000 miles away. And you look back at that little blue ball that a lot of people are on, and wouldn't it be neat if those people figured out how to love themselves, that they knew that they were loved, and then they loved their neighbor? It's like pretty simple. So like when me and Mary first met and she was asking me what to do, I was going like, listen, what if you just spent every day, all day, just trying to give away a gift and be kind to people? And she's like, I can do that. And she went from a few hundred followers to over 6,000 followers. It's like you can just do that. Whatever seed that you feel that you can plant, you just got to constantly be giving it. So, of course, we have unlimited wisdom. And then, some of us are involved in AI upline. Some of us are involved in immunotech. Some of us are involved in other things. And it's like, no matter what you're involved in, do your very, very best to consistently go out there and just say, I'm not offering seeds to other people or giving them things to see to make money. And people are going like, well, that's the reason I'm doing it. Then that might be why it's difficult for you, right? So I just always said, listen, if I find people that are at the wrong place at the wrong time, but they want things to change, and I find them at the right time and give them the information, because I keep thinking of the Bobby Hollis 40 years ago that was told I couldn't be a mechanic anymore. That really, really was at a very dark place in my life. And someone said, hey, read this book. Well, I know that most people don't read The Greatest Miracle in the World. And I know they're not passionate and excited that that book will change their life. And I know they're not excited and consistent and disciplined to go through, the 100 days reading it every night before they go to bed. Terry and I, it doesn't make a difference what we're listening to. Terry and I go to bed, and she now listens to a meditation we both listen to. And then when it stops, I have the 8-hour meditation that I listen to. And it's crazy the little things that Terry and I do each and every day. I mean, how many days in a row have you posted your vibe?
3 years.
Yeah, and it's like
4 years.
Yeah, and it's like Terry will stop posting her vibe, and she'll get all these messages. Are you okay? Why didn't you post your vibe? What weirdos they
Captured. I need $1 million. Help me. I'm just kidding.
And so that's really a short of a message that I have today. I just wanted it to be really, really short, and just ask yourself each and every day, why aren't I? What do I need to do? There's the question. What do I need to do to know that I'm going to get a harvest here or in the next section, the next part of my life? So I'm a believer. And so I know that it says that it's not based on works that we earn our way into heaven. I just want to be proud of myself when I get there. If I find out once I get there, that I really didn't have to do anything but just believe that, I'm still going to be okay. So there's people that are like, that whole concept of KAIZEN, it's this never ending improvement, but I get to look at my life each and every time and go, okay, I did more. And I was just thinking, how many people are in the world, or how many people that are live here or will watch this recorded? Can you really look at the last 5 years and say that, wow, every year my life gets better? Or is it like, well, no, I'm sort of really good at just maintaining, right? It's like each and every year should get better. So I believe in you, so I just imagined the disciples. That's what I was imagining today, is that the imagination of they got to spend a few more days, depending on who they are, with Jesus, and now all of a sudden he's no longer there. And it's like, I still hear all the time how some people just go, what makes you so successful? Well, my father's not living anymore, but I just want him to, every time he looks at me, just go, wow, he's just pushing it. He's just getting a little gooder, little gooder, little gooder, little gooder. So I believe in you, and I love you, and I know that you have it within you to do it. And so let's go out and make other people's lives better, and in turn it'll make ours better. You just gotta believe that. So I love you guys. Have a great day. You got any closing words, love? So God bless you guys. Talk to you soon. See you tomorrow.